Well, we started the business in March of 2001, and it's a private child welfare agency licensed through the state of Pennsylvania to do protective services, casework, counseling, parenting instruction, family and individual therapy, and a number of different assignments that are given to us by the child custody agencies, child welfare and juvenile probation in Berks County and Lehigh County. So it's primarily designed to work with a population of at-risk kids that come under the supervision of juvenile courts. Uh, the agency's name is Signature Family Services. My logo, I don't know if you can see it. Uh, I came up with that just one night, just it was a little touchy, what to name an agency, and I didn't want to name it after, Jack Borden or Borden Counseling. Um, so I like that. It flows well. I've done this from a number of different aspects since 1974. I liked working with kids. I always kind of wanted to work with kids. And I didn't want to be a coach. Most everybody said, you ought to be a coach or a gym teacher. And that didn't interest me at all. And I've worked at agencies that have worked with kids and families in a number of different settings. And I've really got to the point that I thought that it was time to start an agency that was specifically designed to work with kids in their families, to prevent them from going into foster care residential programs. Originally thought that I'd be a probation officer, and I had an interview scheduled in North Carolina, and I never went to it and came back home and saw an ad in the paper for the Lutheran home and responded to that, and there were a lot of applicants, and I wasn't hired at first, and then they offered a job for me to work in the cottages with the kids because there were 5 cottages with about 15, 18 kids in each cottage and house parents. And about a year later, I went to work at the Lutheran home, and I just loved it. I just loved it. I loved working with the kids and meeting the families, and it was comfortable for me. I didn't have the kind of anxiety and problems that people often encounter. Then I worked at Children's Services, Berks County Children's Services, as a director overseeing all the kids in foster care and residential programs, and participated in the juvenile court each week for probably about 8 years. And after that, I ran the detention center below the Berks County Prison, and that housed approximately about 60 kids in the detention center off and on, and about 20 children underneath in the shelter care program through Children's Services. So I've worked in a number of different aspects with kids that have come under court supervision either because of dependency issues with Children's Services or delinquency matters where kids have committed some crimes and end up in the juvenile justice system. And then lastly, I worked at a counseling agency and decided that I was much happier and more geared towards doing direct services and managing staff that didn't have those types of experiences, and that's how it got started. I started in 2001 with my first assignment myself in July in Lehigh County, and at the present time, when we completed our invoice for March, I'm up to 168 families that we're working with in both Lehigh and Berks County, and I just hired 2 more staff that I think I'll move into full-time positions. Me personally, I get up, come down, and start to check the fax machine. There's 3 referrals that came in Friday, and I organize that, make sure that the phone's covered, and organize my day. And I have an administrative assistant here Monday through Friday from 8:15, 8:30 on, so that's been helpful. But my day is usually at the desk, taking phone calls, taking care of the paperwork that has to be done, the reports, or reviewing and editing reports that are done by other staff. And then around 10:30, 11 o'clock, I'll take off because I get antsy and I don't like sitting behind a desk. I like getting out and moving and working with people.